Everybody, here we go. Snap. Welcome, y'all. Hello, and welcome to Recovering Addicts live stream coming to you from the heart of Utah. We are RA, and we are a nonprofit dedicated to those standing shoulder to shoulder, fighting the toughest of battles in their lives, the battle of addiction. We are a relapse prevention program, and we are long term. And guess what? We are totally free. What? Free? Luckily, we gather every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. And I better check something because I screw this up every time. Hold on. I'll start this thing over. I don't even care. Speakers, MacBook Pro. Screwed it up. Starting over. We're starting over, everybody. I'm mad now. So.
Starting over.
Huh? A blooper reel?
At least you caught it early this time.
Yeah,
And we didn't get 10 minutes into the thing and everybody's like, can't hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so we're good. Cameras are good. Microphones are good, I hope. Hopefully we're loud enough for everybody to hear us. But I'm going to start that over because it's important information that everybody needs to hear, okay? And it's a cool song. And I love it. Okay. Hello, and welcome to Recovering Addicts live stream. Coming to you live from the heart of Utah. We are RA. We're a nonprofit. And we're dedicated, standing shoulder to shoulder with those fighting the toughest of battles of their lives, the battle against addiction. We are a relapse prevention center, and guess what? We're long-term and we're totally free. Woo! Locally here in Utah, we gather every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 to 8 in the Iron House Gym, located at 155 14th Street in Ogden, Utah. The first hour we dedicate it to our bodies, strengthening our physical resilience as we work out together. And then the last hour, we unite our minds and spirits, sharing and supporting each other in our group therapy sessions. We're a therapeutic community. And the best thing of all is we're absolutely free. You can join us today and you can stay as long as you want. It takes about 1.5 years to graduate our program. But this stream, this thing, and why you're here is for those who can't be here with us physically, but they share our dedication to breaking free from the chains of addiction. And it is for everyone looking for a beacon of hope, support, and connection on their journey towards long-term sobriety. Together, we're going to explore latest news. We're going to deep dive into the intricacies of addiction, expand our spiritual horizons, and equip ourselves with practical health and fitness tips. Remember, this isn't just a live stream. It's a lifeline, and we are here with you every step of the way. And our motto is, we recover better together. So take a deep breath and ready your hearts and minds, because together we are not just surviving, we are actually thriving. Welcome to Recovering Addicts live stream. Let us embark on this journey of healing empowerment together. And I'm your host. I'm LT. I've hit the hard rockest of rockest bottoms in my life with meth and alcohol. I got felonies to prove it. Ugh. And the struggle as well, my friends. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Kelsey, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. Thank you so much for having me today, LT. This is awesome. I'm super excited for what we're going to talk about today.
So fun, me too.
It's so nice to have you here today, Kelsey, our new bestie, Kelsey. I'm Felice. I'm married to LT. I'm sure you've seen me here before.
I'm Aubrey. I'm also a recovering addict, and I'm super excited to be here.
And some of you may be wondering, how do I support these guys? These guys rock. They have a free program. The best way, seriously, you can support us right now is to share this video out. Just hit that share button, share it with your friends, share it on Facebook, share it on your message. You know how to share stuffs. If you like it, you share it. So please just share us out. Let people know that we're out here, that we're live. So we've been, like Geesh right here. What's up, Geesh? Good to see you, brother. How are you doing?
Hey,
Give us a little update on how things are going. But we've been going live for like 3 years now. During COVID and all that crap, we were live almost every single day for a couple of years. And then we started businesses. We turned it into a real nonprofit, and we just got really super duper busy. And I don't ever want to lose this heart of it. So I'm trying to get it back without killing myself and overcommitting and then not having the quality that it deserves. So for now, and I'm going to figure out how to up it in the future here. But the first Sunday of every month, we're going to have a live stream here in the basement with a special guest like we have today, Kelsey. And we're going to get into talking to her here in just a minute, hear her story, talk about some stuff that's on her heart and mind. We're all going to give our opinions. So please ask questions, get involved, share it out. Like I said, if you want to support us, all you got to do is click that share button. Seriously, that is probably the best way to do it. But I have a question. It's like October 1st already.
I
you
can't
believe
believe
that?
it. I can't believe the leaves are already changing. Honestly.
Yeah. Like what? So my question is,
Is it about sweater weather?
sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Spooky season.
Not about sweater weather.
Sweater weather. I got a sweater, naturally sweater.
Sweater weather.
So we are about ready to make some goals, right? Some, what are those called? New Year's resolutions.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's go back 10 months.
Hmm.
Let's go back 10 months and talk about the New Year's resolutions that were set before. Who set some New Year's resolutions last year?
I don't believe in New Year's resolution.
I don't remember. That's why I was laughing.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember. Actually, I do remember one.
What is it?
You want to know what it was?
Yeah.
To be able to do 3 pull-ups by the end of the year.
You got 3 months in it. Where are you at?
I can do 1. I can do 1.5.
You better get your ass to work.
I know. I got to get going.
Halfway there.
I'm halfway there. 1.5.
1.5. That's good.
That really was one of my goals, though. I can't remember the other ones, but 3 pull-ups by myself, no rubber bands, nothing.
That's good.
So
Okay, so we got pull-ups on the menu. You don't believe in New Year's resolutions?
No, I think they're designed to have an end and
Oh.
they set people up for failure. If you want to do something, you have to start at the beginning of the year. You just do it.
It's like starting on Mondays. Why do we always start on Mondays?
Starting on Monday never works.
Just
Why do
start.
people always have to start on Monday? I told that to a friend of mine who called me recently. Or who was I talking to? Oh no, it was a different person. They called, I think it was like Thursday or Friday. They're drunk. And this person was like, I need help. And actually their brother reached out to me. And this person said, I need help. And I said, you know what? Just because you're going to come and start our program Monday doesn't mean that you get to binge the rest of this week. I said, it starts now, but we'll see you Monday.
Exactly.
Well, it's like putting a date in the calendar for like what day you're going to be ready.
Yeah.
You can't.
And then you got 3 days of like bullshit excuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to eat this whole cake.
Yeah. New Year's Eve night.
I'm going to eat the whole cake right now.
New Year's Eve night. New Year's Eve is night. Oops.
I don't remember my New Year's resolutions either. I don't think I said any because I was already like rocking goals.
Yeah, I don't think I said it either.
that's the thing is like we've been doing goals. And we also in our program set our goals how long ago? Like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
So we've been like steadily working on our goals. And it was never like January 1st, start your goals. You know, we're always working on goals in our program.
Yep. I love it.
What were you going to say about New Year's resolutions when we got off rails?
That was it. It's freaking 10
Oh.
months into this shit. How was your New Year's resolutions? Did you set goals that were weak as shit and you forgot? You know? It's 10 months into the year. This year's flying by. And most people do set New Year's resolutions. Our highest memberships come in January. Vaza, Planet Fitness is always busy in January. And then February 15th, see you suckers. They're gone.
Chocolate covered
The weak
strawberries.
people leave, you know? And so, I don't know. We just watched a little tiny motivational video a few minutes ago while we were sitting here waiting to go live. And it was about goal setting and the New Year's resolutions. And because that's coming up again in 3 months, people are going to be doing it. They're going to go through, oh, I had October and I had November and then I got Christmas. So I can't set goals yet because, you know, I got to eat candy and eat turkey and all that stupid stuff. Right?
Why
It's that- it's that-
Because that's what they sound like.
Oh, okay.
They eat turkey.
People that fail at goals sound like that.
Oh, okay.
Sounded like Moira from
Just,
Yeah, I
Schitt's
did.
Creek.
From Schitt's Creek.
I love Schitt's Creek. But that video we just watched talked about setting goals. If you're setting goals that you know you can achieve, what is that doing for you? Set goals that scare you.
Ooh, scary goals.
That's what I've been doing the last 3 years. I don't know. Like even my next year goal, riding to St. George, that's scary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
That's a big goal.
Oh,
It is
you're going to
definitely-
do it.
Yeah, you're gonna do it.
It's just going to be hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. So for all of you out there, I'm gonna throw it out there. Y'all hear it here first on the internet. Next year, I'm riding my bike, my road bike, my 10-speed. No motors. These are the motors right here. From Ogden to St. George to promote recovery awareness type stuff, right? And obviously a publicity stunt for us. But let's say what's up to everybody. Who's here?
too.
Hey, for the record, you just said that on the internet, so now you have to do
I
it.
have
Yeah.
to do
You
it.
have to do it.
It's set in stone.
So
It's
Mhm.
happening.
just so you know.
And the
So-
internet will hold you accountable.
I ain't scared.
Ask Amber.
Yeah,
Heard.
internet, hold them
Amber Heard.
accountable.
So who do we got with us? We got a Facebook user. Remember, if it comes up as just Facebook user, that means you're in our private group, which is awesome. You want to remain anonymous? We're totally down with that. But just letting you know, we won't be able to see your name.
Usually that's Bobby. If that
Oh, we
too,
love
I
you.
love you.
Marilyn, we love you. Geesh, okay, he gave us an update. Oh,
What
Jim,
up, Marilyn?
Jim's here. What's up, Jim?
Jim
Let it be tonight. We're gonna let Kelsey here in a second start steering the ship to the topics and conversations. Geesh says he's doing well. I'm now a certified water operator.
What is a water
What
operator?
the hell's a water operator?
He operates
Moving
the
up.
water.
How do
Obviously,
you
Yeah.
water operator?
like this.
It's like he just splashes in it.
I don't know. I don't know what a water operator is.
Professional faucet turner.
It's fun to say, like sweater weather. Water operator.
Water operator. Almost 2 years. What?
Good job.
2 years, Geesh. I remember when you was just a wee baby in recovery.
Me too.
Oh,
Look
we
at you
love
just
you,
killing it.
Steffi.
That is
Oh, it's
so
Steffi.
cool.
Oh,
Steffi's the
Steffi.
Facebook user.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, people. Hey, Kelsey.
Hi, Steffi. Love
Jim says
you.
hi, Steffi. Hope things are good. I don't see Steffi's comment.
Down
the
farther.
bottom.
Down the bottom.
Geesh says Monday sucks enough already. Yeah,
Yeah,
why
that's
start some
true.
stupid shit on Monday when it sucks already?
Yeah, for real.
Not if you ask the guy I work with. Loves
I feel
Mondays.
like people are super sensitive on Mondays too. Like screw up my coffee and the whole day is just
I used to get depressed on Sunday night.
Sunday night
Car-
blues.
karma
Sunday night
latte.
that's
blues.
still a thing.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing.
It's like, oh, I got to go to work tomorrow.
I started in school. I gotta go to freaking
Just got to
school
prep the
tomorrow.
mind. Prep
Yeah.
the mind.
Got to get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
All right, Kelsey. So what's on the agenda? You texted me some stuff you
Yeah.
wanted to talk about.
Oh, list?
you,
Got so many things to talk
You
about.
list?
Like it's recovery.
Yeah.
Let's
Tell
let's
us all the things.
introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit of your story and whatnot. And
So I was actually born here in Ogden. My parents gave
oh,
me
town.
Yes, Old Town. My parents gave me up for adoption when I was 24 hours old. So I was born here, but then I was adopted and went to little old Huntington. I usually just tell people Price because nobody knows what Huntington is. Huntington is in the middle of smack dab in the middle of Utah, and we didn't get our first street light until I was 22.
What?
Yeah, and did you now you know why I came so early? Because I was scared I was gonna find it. And I was thinking on the way here, you know what? At least it's not St. George with all those dang roundabouts. And then right before your house, there's a freaking roundabout.
Roundabouts are the best.
I love roundabouts.
Anyway, so yeah, I grew up in Huntington. My mom and dad and my brother. Hi, mom and dad. Love you. They're really good parents. And then so I grew up with just one brother. That was it. I found my biological family when I was 17. So this is a fun part of my story that I don't usually get to talk about as much. But so when my biological mom was able to write me letters till I was 5, and then the adoption was closed, and she had this wish that they would give me those letters and one extra one when I was 15, because that's how old she was when she had me. And so it was kind of like a reach out, be able to reach out to me, her way of being able to reach out to me when I turned 15. So it had the envelope had a little necklace in it with a teddy bear on it and everything. And in those letters, she addressed me as kind of an alias name because she wasn't allowed to, because the closed adoption, know my legal name. So she would write me in this name, and it was Sierra Journey Worthen. And one day I don't know why it took me till I was 17 and why I didn't think about it sooner, but I mean, your whole life when you're adopted, you think about, where are they out there somewhere, these people who created me, And so when I was 17, I Googled that name and a Facebook page popped up, and it was baby pictures of me and pictures of me with her in the hospital I'd never seen before. And it was like, this
That's
is my
cool.
daughter. I gave her up for adoption on February 23rd, 1995. And
Aw.
I messaged it, and I was like, I'm your daughter. And this was like at 2 a.m. I was supposed to be in bed. I was a teenager, but I was instead searching the internet for my biological family, and I found her. And then we met shortly after that, and she told me who my biological dad was, and we met shortly after that. And then now it's been 10 years. So yeah, But back to my
Do you
story.
guys still talk?
Yeah, me and my mom do. So we weren't close for a really long time. My addiction, we didn't have the best relationship, but thankfully we're working on it now, and it's been really good. It's been very healing for me, actually, for us to be able to talk about me being adopted and talk about her putting me up for adoption. All those really hard topics, we kind of started to squash them, and it's been really healing for me.
Wow.
I was really close with my biological dad for a long time. And this is kind of plays into one of the topics I want to talk about today, which is family dynamics in recovery. Because,
Mhm.
My biological dad and we had a relationship for almost all that 10 years till like about a year ago, actually. And when I moved up here, because I was going through some stuff down in my hometown, I couldn't stay there anymore. I tell people this all the time. You can't, same playground, same playmates. You'll
Mhm.
find yourself back
Mhm.
playing the same game. So I was finding myself around some old playmates and stuff, and I just had to get out of there. And so I moved up here to Ogden, and his relationship was on this basis of talking like a couple minutes twice a week, 3 times a week, seeing each other couple times a year, and when I moved up here and ended up living with him for a while till I could get on my feet, kind of got to know each other way better outside of that, to go from that to living with each other. And I think an expectation that went wrong in both relationships with my biological mom and my biological dad is trying to play that role of their parent figures, and I'm like a daughter figure, and I don't think it never worked that way.
Mm.
When I got up here, my biological dad started getting super controlling and,
Mm.
bossing me around.
Now I want to be dad.
Yeah. And his stance was more like, I mean, he straight up told me my parents didn't do it good enough. Now he needs to fix it.
Oh boy.
I mean, yeah. And then,
That never
that's
works.
not, no, it's not. And when you're an adult, it's not your parents' problem to fix you anyways. It's yours.
Well, they lost that respect early on when we were children, and then you almost can't get it back
Yeah.
at some point. And it always trips me out when I think about. Felice has heard me talk about this all the time. What is it about when you start just thinking about people on this planet? There's 7 billion people or some trillion, there's a bazillion people on the planet, right? Right, and our parents are just a person out of all of those. We are just people out of all of those people. What is it about our connection to our biologicals that we want to gain their acceptance, trust? We need to know them, and we need to understand who they are, and we hold them to high esteem. Like they're not just another person getting through this world, tripping over every rock like we do.
Yeah.
Like, why do we need to be accepted by them?
Oh yeah, I definitely put my biological dad clear up on a pedestal. So
Yeah.
when
Why do we do that?
shit hit the fan in our relationship, it was like super disappointing, and I have my end in that or whatever, but it was definitely made me have a different perspective. I'm still learning about biology and the dynamic of, it's like, for instance, I grew up wanting to be a police officer.
Ew.
I know.
Ew.
Well, first, for a while, I wanted to be a nurse, and then as I got older, I think I want to go to the police academy.
That would be cool.
So when I met my biological mom, guess what?
She's a police officer.
She's a cop, and so is my grandpa.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the blood.
Yeah. So I'm actually now. They both retired
now
from
look
Weber
at you.
County,
What
and
the
so now
hell?
I am the 3rd generation biologically to work at Weber County, and it was all fate. It was all just fate. We all ended up in corrections, and then on the recovery and addiction side of things, my biological father was in recovery, and obviously had addiction in his life. And I wasn't raised that way at all. I was raised by my parents who were conservative. And
Your adopted parents?
Yeah. Yep, I was raised by them who were conservative. We went to church every Sunday, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like, don't do drugs.
Mhm.
And that's when I found out about all these things. That's when I really got obsessed with, like, how does our biology play into our addictions and our behaviors and epigenetics.
So your biological parents ever suffered or struggle with addiction?
Yeah, my dad did.
Oh, your dad.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
So you lived in a small town in the middle of Utah that was lit by the moon until you were 22.
Yeah.
No streetlights
or roundabouts.
No round. Thank heaven.
How did you get into addiction then?
So
And where were you at? Like, were you in the Mormon family or LDS family?
Yeah,
or
my
churchy
family was LDS growing up. Yep, we were LDS. I quit going when I was about 15, but so my addiction started when, like I already made it clear I was in a rural area, and what we did was hang out in the hills, you know, and we were always out on dirt roads up in the mountains, just, you know, doing shit kicker stuff.
Yep.
And
Only 3 things to do.
3 things to do, and drugs, alcohol, and each other.
Drugs,
Ooh.
alcohol.
Exactly.
And me and my friend were out. It was 4th of July weekend, and it was July 3rd. We were celebrating the 4th, though. 4th landed on Sunday in Utah, so we were doing it on Saturday.
Can't party on Sunday in Utah.
Can't party on Sunday in Utah.
I know.
No fun on Sundays. And we rode my grandpa's side by side. We decorated it in all the red, white, and blue, you know. And then afterwards, we decided to go mess around in the hills. And so I was driving. And I had my friend Baco with me, and I was looking off in the distance, and I didn't realize how fast I was going, just not paying attention. I look in front of me, and all of a sudden there's a corner, and I just overcorrected hard, and we rolled. I got flung up and over, and then I get up and I find her, and her leg, she's sitting on the ground, her legs are under it, and I was gonna go pull her, but something told me do not pull her, and I didn't. But she ended up pushing herself up and standing up, and she had her leg was just dangling there. Just
Ew.
blood everywhere. Her bone was sticking out about that far.
Oh, man.
And they found
Owie.
3 pieces of her femur bone at the scene.
Oh
later
my
on.
gosh. So
my
it was
gosh.
shattered.
Yeah.
Okay, but like in the dirt,
Yeah. We went back like days later, and there was puddles of blood.
Oh,
and that's
Lordy.
when you found the bones, or
Yeah. Well, they found it at the scene after. Yeah.
gross.
Yeah. They had a life flighter. I used to tell her
Thanks,
unlucky number was
Jen.
3 because she found 3 inches of skin. They found 3 inches of bone at the scene, and then she lost 3/4 of blood in her body, and it was crazy.
Oh my Lordy.
Yeah.
So an accident, your
Yep.
first accident.
Yep. And then so that's when, you know, she was prescribed pain pills. I was prescribed pain pills, and I took them as needed. My parents would give them to me. They didn't leave me in control of them. But I started putting them under my tongue when my mom would give them to me. And then like
Oh,
save
you
up
already
to
knew.
I
She
already
was
knew.
already being an addict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and then I did that for a while, but I didn't really fall all the way into addiction. But almost exactly a year later, I got in a really similar accident. We were up in the hills messing around, tried to miss a motorcycle, and my friend overcorrected, and we rolled a truck 5 times front over end. My foot got cut open. I sit up, and the top of my foot, the skin is flapped over my toes.
Oh,
And
that's pain.
So gross.
yum. Are you
Did you
picturing
throw
it?
up?
I don't remember.
Probably pass out.
She said, I don't remember.
Probably a pass out. thing.
Yeah, I just remember I probably did pass out. I passed out with Baca's accident. As soon as I saw her leg, I was like, good night, bye-bye. But yeah, so I don't remember the ambulance ride for that one either. I think they knocked me out. But my high school sweetheart, he was under the truck, and he's lucky to be alive. He crushed
G'day, mate.
pelvis and all sorts of stuff. Well, he also got life flighted, and we all got pain pills, of course. My foot ended up getting an infection really bad. It was like spreading up my leg, and my whole foot at one point was just black. And
Oh.
like you could tap on it because the skin was so dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah. and after it healed, the doctor was like, just so you know, we were trying not to scare you, but we almost had to cut your foot off. I'm like, you think I didn't know that?
Oh, Lordy.
He said I could tell it was black.
It was bad.
So you live in a conservative home.
Yep.
You get in one accident. You're already displaying addiction behaviors
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
and enjoying what you're doing.
Mhm.
And then some time goes by, prescription runs out, no big deal. You're back to being a good girl.
Yep. Well,
And-
yeah.
You're
I
not
was
pounding.
still smoking weed and like
She was
whatever,
causing
you
ruckus
know?
You're
in the
doing drugs.
hills. What are you talking
know, I
about?
was
She
still
was
like-
out in the hills.
Yeah,
she was in the
I mean-
hills.
She said the 3 things they did.
Well, I was
From in between each accident, you're still partying.
no, I wasn't crazy yet. After 16,
Mild.
that's when
Okay.
I was mild,
Mild.
then.
Okay.
After 6 in my second accident, that's when
you're
I
doing
really
the
got
sneak out
unhinged.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The teenage
Do you know what?
rebellion.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
100% vulnerable right now. In high school, my biggest addiction was men. I could not stay away from guys in high school. Like they fed my ego. They they made me feel good about myself because I had no self-esteem. So, but yeah, then I graduate high school, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm free, and got pregnant immediately. I graduated in May, was pregnant in August.
Oh wow.
Yep. And so my kid's dad, we had our son first. I met him right out of high school, and when I got pregnant, and he had already previously been he was a little bit older than me, and he started using when he was 9. and his mom used her whole life. So
Damn, 9.
yeah, 9 years old, he started smoking weed, and by junior high, he was the bad boy, selling ecstasy, going raving, all that stuff. And so I never ever blame another person for my decisions, but we were not good on influences on each other, you
Mhm.
know. So he was more into party stuff in high school. I'd done pills and smoked weed, but then we both got introduced to heroin at the same time. And we already were doing pills together before I even got pregnant, and that was only a month. I got pregnant a month after I met him, and we were already doing pills that whole time. Thankfully I did stop when I was pregnant with my son. I got some help, but then after I had my son, though, the first thing I could think about was using. Like that was I tried to refrain, and it wasn't happening. So we started doing meth and heroin on a daily basis after my son was born, and then we had my daughter, and same situation. And then after her, we found needles, and that.
What made you want to do the jump? That's kind of, even when I was in my meth addiction, and I did meth I think I always say this to everybody when I'm telling my story, that if I wouldn't have gone to jail the day I went to jail, the next week I would have been shooting up. I was already in that environment. I was smoking it while I was watching multiple people shooting up, trying to talk me into it, you know, at the same time. And if I didn't go to jail, and I was afraid of it, and I always thought, you know, well, at least I don't shoot up. You know?
Yeah, I've heard that so
I'm
many
eating
times.
it.
Or
I'm
I
doing
never
hot
will.
rails.
I never will, but then they do.
You're not
you know?
that.
How did you? It seems like, how bad was your pill addiction? Because that's a huge jump. It must have been. Was it draining the pocket, like money
so
wise?
pills were just draining our pocket. Like it was too hard to maintain because pills were so expensive, and so heroin was stronger. We switched to heroin, and then
What year is this?
This is 2000. Oh man, I have such a bad brain when it comes to this sort of thing. 2014.
So is this pill mill time?
Yes.
The Sackler family,
Yes. And
Purdue Pharma.
And it didn't help that my now husband's mom got her own prescription, and
you could
so
almost
she would give
say
him
you're
to
a
us.
victim of the epidemic from Purdue and the Sackler family creating OxyContin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. The pill mills, opiates, all that crap that was from the doctors, and the doctors were just
well,
giving it
that
out
back
like
then,
candy.
back then, like
that's
you could find it
insane.
anywhere. It was just more expensive, you know.
Yep.
But
Okay, so you're running out of money, you and your boyfriend at the time, right? Who have 2 kids now.
Yep.
And someone's like, "Hey, here's a needle and some heroin for 10 cents instead of $12."
Well, yeah, it's kind of what really happened was the first time I ever shot up, we were in a bar, and we were trying to share this tiny little bit we had between 3 of us
Of a pill or
of heroin.
Oh, okay.
And so we went in the bathroom, and the only way to split it up was water it down because it was so tiny. It was so dumb, so dumb. And he goes, my husband ended up overdosing that night. Glad he's still here, but yeah, he overdosed later on that night. And then when we really switched to doing it regularly was when the similar thing would happen. We only have a tiny bit. We got to share it. We're both sick. So the best way to split it is to shoot it up, because then you're not wasting any smoking it. So that's
don't want to
how-
waste
You
it.
gotta make it work. You gotta make it work with what you have. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then bam, before you know it,
Carpet meth.
he'd overdosed 3 times, 2 of them on his birthday. And
I'm
then
gonna shut this door real quick.
And then I overdosed in, let's see, we started shooting up in 2000. Yeah. And regularly in 2015. And then after 2017, I overdosed. And that was the same
You
year.
overdosed?
Yes, I did. Yep. What had happened was my husband went to St. George to get clean, and I stayed home because we knew we were bad for each other. We were like, we got to separate. You got to go do it there, and I got to stay here, you know? And I made it 5 days without using. And man, I remember every time I tried to quit using, day 5, there was something about it. Like I would give up every time. And it was day 5, and I drove to my plug's house and tried to use as much as I had the week before.
What do you think it was about day 5? Physical or mental? Because how fast do you get over it? Like, is it 3 days?
Oh man, I mean
How long does a sickness last?
weeks, 2 weeks.
Ugh.
The non-sleep part and the legs. That's what got me real bad was the restless legs.
Mm.
I couldn't sleep. I was wiggly and the restless legs moved to restless arms and restless everything else. So it's like if you saw me laying there, you'd think I was on meth, not withdrawing from heroin, because I just could not hold still, you know?
So is day 5 maybe like you get a little bit of energy enough to go and feed the addiction
Yeah,
and
maybe.
chase it down or something?
I honestly wish that's something I could remember better, but it's really hard to remember all those years, down to every detail like that, because I was high the whole time.
Yeah, and that's what's wrong with our society at the moment. I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit, but we need, jails and laws and all that stuff are in place, and they have their purpose in there, and they're a good thing to have. But we need better detox centers.
Yeah.
Holding them past
Oh,
day
yeah.
5.
Yeah.
We need a like 30-day mandatory detoxes, because if somebody gets detoxed mandatory that has a drug charge and is coming down off of drugs, and at 30 days they actually have that out of their system, how much more of a fighting chance do they have at that moment?
Oh, way.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
My 30-day detox was jail.
Yeah, mine too. Mine was like, that's how I got off meth.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, they talk about detox in AA in the AA book, and I think that got lost somewhere along the way.
Yeah,
Because they used to have they talked about them like being in a medical bed and nurses and people always checking on them. They just don't have it anymore. Now it
That
just
was alcoholics.
costs tons of money.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mhm. Well, and I was in a rural area, and they are slower to catch up with everything.
Mhm.
Except
the
like
drugs.
I've been watching my hometown recently, and they've got their recovery community popping down there, and it was not like that when I started my
Sweet.
recovery, and I'm
Yeah.
super proud of them. Yeah.
I think that's on the backside of the Sackler lawsuit, and some of the grants that we've been a part of is because of the epidemic, the opiate epidemic that was by the Sackler and Purdue, have been sued, and that money has been pushed into the communities to create recovery programs.
About
too.
damn time.
Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome. So you OD.
Yep. And then it was just a couple. Let's see, that was summer
That's
of
the
17.
the bathtub one, right? You wake
Yeah.
up getting chest compressions.
No, I woke up in the bathtub, and my friend Ashley, and Ashley was in that accident with me, the second one.
Mm.
And we all ended up using. My now ex-boyfriend is in prison actually, but yeah, so I woke up and Ashley's sitting on the side of the tub, and she's like, "Oh my God, guys, she's alive." And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? Of course I'm alive."
I'm alive.
You know, people talk about like seeing the light or something. No, I didn't see. The whole world went black. But then I realized the next day, I was like, "What is this like bruise on my chest?" And it was from my cousin Jasmine pounding on my chest for so long, trying to keep me awake. And they only had one shot of Narcan, so they shot me with it once, didn't work, threw me in the bathtub while my friend Joe ran down the street to another trap house to get another thing in naloxone. Then came back and got me with that one too, and then I came back.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Yeah, nobody called 911. Joe drove me home after that, and I went home and got high.
Oh my lordy.
Mhm.
Didn't even care.
Yeah, well, naloxone, it makes you withdrawal or whatever, and
Yeah.
so I didn't have major withdrawals from it. I think that's how strong it was,
Mm.
because I wasn't withdrawing major, but I wasn't about to either. So
You said no, thank you.
yeah, no.
Yeah, I've heard that, like police officers and whatnot, that are out in those really communities like Philadelphia, right?
Mhm.
But they'll find people in Narcan them, and they've learned how to give them just enough to where they wake up not mad.
Yeah.
That you've put them into instant withdrawal.
Yeah, see, I didn't wake up all crazy. I woke up confused though.
That's insane.
And I was completely dressed and everything, but it was just that was summer of 2017.
Mm.
So I was shooting up for a good 2 years then, and then in October, Halloween of
Halloween.
2017, we were homeless, and well, I was kind of more choosing to be homeless to be with him, because he was homeless and I wasn't going to leave his side. We were Bonnie and Clyde every couple, huh? Every couple that ever got high together call themselves that. But it's like, you guys, it's not Bonnie and Clyde, but
Romanticizing.
Yeah, seriously.
Hey, baby. So my husband, one of his friends got us a hotel room in Huntington. We didn't usually stay there, but he got us a hotel room out there so that we could go to the Halloween parade the next day. So it was the day before Halloween. We get a hotel room. I wake up sick, so I sneak my little butt into the front office and find an envelope full of money. I swear I checked for cameras too. I still don't know how I got caught. I still
Setup. Straight setup.
I know. So
Snitch.
I'm like, hey, we got to get out of here. So I call my aunt and she comes and picks us up. And the funny thing is I needed to run home first. We had our kids with us, and I needed to run home first and grab some stuff for the kids before we went to Price, because had to go pick up, and yeah, I'm sharing that my kids were with us. I felt shame for that for a long time, but I worked through that now. I'm in a much better place and we're better parents now. But my aunt drove. I was like, we got to run to my house first, and there's a cop on my front porch, and I was like, oh, just keep going, and she did.
Looking for you for the money already?
Yeah, I don't know, it happened like that.
Wow.
I still don't know, but they had roadblocks on the end of every county. At some point, thought I had a gun too, and that wasn't true. Like,
They call themselves Bonnie and Clyde.
it was like $160. Calm down.
It was nothing. Full 200.
Yeah. So we get over to Price, and we have my aunt drop us off where we think, after we pick up from my dealer, have her drop us off where we think no one will find us. But it was the first. Well, they got a hold of her because I found out we were with her, and she had no idea what we were doing. We manipulated her into thinking that I don't know what I feel bad now because my poor aunt. She had no idea what the dude with the backpack on the bike was giving us on the side of the road. I don't know what I convinced her of, but then we're at my brother-in-law's house getting high, and we get a phone call. My plug's like, hey, I heard your name on the scanner. And she had already dropped us off. We don't have a car or nothing, so we're trying to scramble and figure it out. And then before we could, bum, 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 on my brother-in-law's door.
Dang.
Yep, and they didn't even ask no questions. They cuffed me immediately, and they had cops from 2 different counties all over the place. And yeah, I went to jail. Went to jail, and that's what I really consider my rock bottom, because when
The kids were in the house?
Yep, my mom and dad came and picked them up.
Pretty sure they set you up. They
That's
said,
a
we're going to leave
setup.
this envelope right here
Yeah, that sounds like a
and
setup.
wait for her to grab it.
Which is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I think about that now, like some of my friends that are still out there kind of in active addiction, and it's like, man, I hope they get caught.
Me
Yeah.
too. The
Go to
safest
jail.
place is jail sometimes,
Did
and
you bail
I
me
hate
out?
that. but
Hell
yeah,
no. Sleep it off.
Right.
You're
I don't
good.
even feel bad when I check the jail bookings every week, and I'm like, please be there. Please be there.
Yeah. Yep. Jail saved my life.
Yeah, jail saved my life too, for sure.
The thought of going to jail saved my life. I was terrified to go to jail.
We've had the opportunity.
Yeah, me
for those
too.
out there listening to be in a couple
real.
jails over this list. So Kelsey and I and Aubrey and Zylan, we all made this video of hers. If you haven't seen it, we'll have to make sure we share the link so that y'all can see it. But we ended up shooting inside of a jail, and then like a week later, we got a tour of the Weber County Jail.
Yeah.
And Aubrey, you've never experienced inside jail.
No,
like that,
I've
have
never
you?
been inside jail before. I remember there was
Talk
one.
about it for a second. I'm going to share her story.
Okay.
And
I
then-
remember there was one time as a kid, because I also grew up LDS. So I grew up a little sheltered, a little from real life. But there was one time as a child when I was in young women's, and you have to be like 12 years old. I think I was 12. They took us to the prison, and we got to talk to some of the inmates. And I remember at that point in my life, I was like, that was scary. Like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until it
Weber
really,
County?
really clicked in my brain that like I was doing stuff that could have put me in jail.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing those people in jail, I was like, I could never wear those shoes. That sports bra he showed me, no, no,
That's the parts that scare
I'm not
you.
wearing it. Yeah. And then we saw the people in there just like chilling in the 4 concrete walls, and that was considered outside. And I said, oh, nope, not for me. Not for me. I can't go there. So there were plenty of times that I got pulled up by the cops, and they were like, it was finally the last time. I kept getting pulled up by the same cops in Sandy City, and they were like, dude, if we have to pick you up one more time, we're taking you to jail.
I had that experience too. Like they had, because that wasn't the first thing I did illegal. Like my grandparents would give me money whenever I asked for it, so I eventually started taking it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, skip that part. I'll just start taking it. And they knew. My cousin, set up trail cams at my grandparents' house and caught me sneaking in, and that's
Trail cams.
yeah. And they turned it in, and so when I got arrested, they already had all this evidence on me for like burglary. And
Oh, they had a bunch of stuff on you.
and exploitation. Yeah, so they stacked it on top once I got arrested.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, it was a really cool experience to be at jail. It definitely opened my eyes even more. Like I said, I grew up kind of a little sheltered. Part of the reason I think I decided to use, part of the reason, not all of the reason, but part of the reason was curiosity. Because there's no one in my family that is an alcoholic or uses or anything like that. I've had no exposure to it whatsoever. But having been to jail now, not been to jail, haven't been to jail. I've just been.
You've never been booked in.
I've just been to jail. I've just been to jail. Having been there now, I'm like, dude, like it just opened my eyes even more.
Yeah.
Every single day I'm in freaking recovery and stuff. My eyes get
You were
opened so much.
Extremely close to that. You had
Yes.
handcuffs on at one point in your
I
life.
did.
Yeah.
Well, I've had handcuffs on multiple times in my life.
Yeah.
One time I was 16 and I was like, I can't go to juvie. I gotta go to school tomorrow. What do you mean? But
You're
no.
like, you're gonna go to school in juvie. Babe.
Yeah. No, the one time that I was scared of going, I can remember it like it happened yesterday. The Sandy police picked me up again and they were like, dude, if you break one more thing or you freaking steal one more thing, we're taking you. We're taking you. And that was right towards the end of my addiction when I finally was like, okay, I don't want to freaking do this anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, 'cause even though jail can save lives, it also causes trauma. So I'm glad you never had to go to jail.
Me too.
It is definitely traumatic.
It is.
Me too.
I was in such a small jail. I was in jail for 3 weeks by myself once because there was no other women in jail. So it was like
Dang.
solitude confinement.
Shoo. Let's show the beginning of your video. I want everybody just to see the intro to this video, and then I'll share I put the video link. It's on Facebook in the comments. So copy and paste that, save it, and then watch the video later, the full length. And it's Kelsey's full story.
I had no clue what a beast opioids were going to turn my life into. I remember the first time I ever tried opioids.
Crazy. Kelsey in jail.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Opiates, drugs. So you've OD'd now.
Yep.
You're in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And you're at rock bottom.
Oh, well, my real true rock bottom moment. And I never have been able to explain this the right way, the feeling I had. But so DCFS came and visited me in jail and said, we need your next of kin that you can keep your kids, you know. I'm like, well, they're already with my mom and dad. Well, my brother had a record and stuff and had some stuff in his past that they were like, you know. So my parents were like, well, the kids come first. So they told my brother he had to go, and they arranged a place for him and everything. He's gonna go stay in the trailer for our camp trailer for a while in one of those places where people live in camp trailers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't good enough for DCFS. So although they told me when I was in jail, and they told my family like, hey, we're gonna ask the judge that the kids stay with your parents, they caught us completely off guard when we got to court, and they said no, they're going into the state's care, and already had it lined up with the foster parents. So the jail didn't take me to court that day. They just had me listening to it and booking. And so I was listening, and I was like, oh, this sucks, but I wasn't quite panicked because I knew my mom and dad were good, safe people for them to be with. Well, when I heard the judge order them that they get put into the state's custody immediately, like my kids are going to leave that courthouse with people I had no idea. That was my rock bottom. I remember, oh my gosh, it makes me sick to my stomach thinking about it. I remember going back to the pod after that, and there was this like the most intense rush, like when you hear really bad news and something, you know, but it was like so intense. I never felt like anything like that in my whole life. I dropped to my knees right there as soon as I walked back into the pod, and the other girls helped pick me up, you know, and man, that was my rock bottom. I knew I needed my babies back. And then I had never even met them, and then they took them to a different state for Christmas, and I was in jail for Christmas, and it was freaking horrible. Thankfully, they were amazing people, and I still have a great relationship to this day. We go to each other, their kid, we say they're all brothers and sisters, and my kids get it because since I'm adopted, they understand what it's like that someone can love you and be there for you as a parent without being blood, so we're still super close. They recently moved to Nebraska, so I miss them a lot, but we're on really good terms and ended up being good. But
thank you, Marilyn.
Thanks, Marilyn.
Love you.
Love your support.
Real quick, I just want to address some people in the comments. Des Cook, good day, mate. Glad you're here.
Day,
All the way
Des.
from
Good
Australia.
day, mate.
Good day, Des.
Jim said something about $200 pill day per day, and then how much cheaper a bottle of alcohol can be. And then I dropped that comment. Geesh says, that's terrifying. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. I mean, y'all know our story with Link and stuff, but I understand that dark instant moment. I'm sure you do too when you got the phone call for Link. It's probably something similar.
Yeah.
Marilyn, thank you for the super sticker. And then Jim says, I got drunker in jail than I did outside. I got pretty good at making slap.
Ew. Is that potty wine?
yes.
Wolfman, what's up, brother?
What up, Wolfman?
Yeah, glad you're here. Thank you.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
So adopted, and that played a part chasing down your biologicals.
Mm-hmm.
Dad on a pedestal. He's an addict, but then sweeps the rug out under your feet and
Yep.
ruins that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Pregnant right out of high school. Pill mills and Oxycontin's flowing like water across the country.
Yep.
You start doing that and switch over to, just like almost everybody that tells that story, to heroin because it's cheaper from across the border. And then you OD. You're doing criminal activity. Sounds like you got set up.
For sure got set up.
100% got set up.
For $160.
Yeah.
You know what? Now I'm gonna add. Now I'm actually really good friends with the he was the officer that arrested me. He actually married one of my really good friends. I'm gonna ask him now.
Ask him. Ask him if you got set up.
Jared, did you set me up?
Thank you. Thank him if he did.
Yeah, if you did, thanks.
And did it have to be under 200 because then it would be a higher degree? So
Dang.
you've been set up.
Well, and the funny thing about
Good
Jared
stuff.
is I grew up playing with his kids. So him and the other detective Tyson were always cutting me breaks because they saw me since I was a little kid, and they didn't want bad things to happen. But I'm glad it did.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me
definitely.
too. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you didn't die. You too. Thank
Yeah,
God for
that's
Narcan and friends who knew what to do at the moment, even though
Yeah.
the situation's shit.
Yeah.
Thank God I got to see you yesterday at a recovery event with your children. That was
And
awesome.
she got to speak last week at Recovery Day.
Oh, and you spoke yeah.
So
Let's
she's
talk
just
about
so
motivation.
freaking
So you're at
awesome.
rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You start getting into recovery, and we know that you moved to Ogden because you just feel like things have got to change. And that's another thing I want to hit. I know you were talking about family dynamics and addiction from recovery, right? And everything has to change. And I feel like your move from Price, was it?
Yeah. I was living
To
in Price
Ogden
when I moved up here last year. Yeah, it's
was
been
a-
a year, and it was a year in September that I've been here now.
Okay. So that was a huge change, right? And then hard work and motivation. That's no short story for you. And then with the last little bit of time we got, we'll hit into that you're not your brain and the importance of understanding function and recovery. So I want you to highlight your recovery story as like how hard you worked and where it's led in just this last year and a half since OD, jail, and kids being ripped out of your hands. Oh, I couldn't imagine that. Real quick story. The second time I went back to jail. So I got out of jail. I was in there for burglary, felony 1 to 15, and whatever. Went to jail. I was dope sick. Ended up getting a stupid tattoo on my arm that says sleepy because I slept so much, dope sick people do. I was a meth guy, not a heroin guy. Get out and still just being a wild child. Come back to Ogden. I ended up moving to West Valley for a minute and then came back to Ogden. Relapsed, got caught by undercovers. And then I told them I was going to fight it. So they didn't arrest me right away, my PO. And then I failed a drug test. And my PO was like, hey, turn around, cuff up. Back to jail that time. Went back to jail pretty much sober. I had been smoking weed, but I wasn't dope sick or none of that stuff. And I laid in that first 2-day room before you get put in population. And the thought of my nephews, my sister's kids at that time, because I was like 21 and they were just little kids at the time. And I didn't have children or wife or nothing. And being the most horrible uncle in the whole world was like the heaviest weight on my shoulders. I couldn't imagine being my own children. And knowing that his brother, my nephew's dad's brother, was like the good uncle who was an awesome electrician and gave them whatever they wanted, and I'm the drug addict in jail. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm the worst brother. And like just the way of the world crushed me. And then that's when I fell on my knees and hit my recovery.
Yeah.
Ish.
Because
later in life at 34, I became a straight raging alcoholic.
Yeah, I was gonna
cross
say
addiction.
that I relate to that like I felt that way about, because I'm the oldest. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. And that I felt like that a little bit, like I'm the worst person ever. I'm the worst example ever. But it also wasn't enough to stop me, which like I hate that. Obviously I've worked through that, but I hated that for a long time, that like, yeah, I didn't like being a bad example to them, and I wanted to be a better sister to them, and I wasn't showing up to their big life events, and it was crushing them, but that still wasn't enough to make me stop.
Yep.
And like, we're just terrible people.
We are, and we say we love them at that moment.
Yes.
And I always hear Dave Droscher, you love your children? Yeah. How many times have you been arrested? 50 times. He talks about that. What were you doing with your children? Running around to drug house, and you love them. Yes, I love my kids.
Them.
He goes, if that's how you treat them when you love them, I couldn't imagine how you treated them if you hated them.
Yeah.
And
when he says that, gives me chills.
every
It gives me
time.
goosebumps. Ah.
So if you're out there and you're running wild with your children saying, I love my family and I love my parents, and that's how you treat them when you love them, I couldn't imagine what it would be like if you hated them. Take that to the bank. Drop the mic.
I'm just kidding.
So Kelsey's, what was it like? As far as beating yourself up in that moment, hitting your knees, and the girls, I can see the girls in jails trying to, I'm sure they experienced some similar stuff, and they kind of pain. Did you feel like the biggest, worst mom in the whole world type thing? Or?
Absolutely. And I had a ton of childhood trauma. I was sexually abused for years growing up, and there was some domestic violence growing up, that sort of thing. And so as a mom, for me, I was like, I just traumatized the shit out of my kids. And I knew I didn't want them to have trauma their whole life. And so I had to get better. Like, my motivation was my kids at first, not me. My motivation was a judge, a PO, a tracker, and not failing my kids. I was not doing it because I gave a shit about me.
Right. That's okay though, too, I think.
It is, because it's a driver. It's what gets people started. Like, just like jail, it's not ideal, but it's what gets you started, And one of the things that, my therapist, Ammon, that I had when I was on drug court, because I did drug court for 3.5 years, I can remember 3 specific times that that he said things that really clicked and made me like, oh. And I really owe that to him, because I don't think if he would have picked my brain the way he did, I would be in recovery still. But one of those things was, we were in group and it was a healthy living class, and he said, he was teaching us that you're not your brain. And at first people got defensive. Like, what do you mean I'm not my brain? That's what I blame everything on. What do you mean?
It's all my brain's fault.
Yeah. And then he continues with, you're not special. I'm like, oh man. I took offense,
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Like, my mommy and daddy told me I is. So but,
I'm the most specialist one.
Yeah, especially, and I always got told I was the special kid because I was adopted. I was special. My grandpa told me, you're a special little package, Yeah, well, that turned me into an entitled little brat, is what thinking I was special was. And he helped me realize that. But when we got into that conversation of, you're not your brain, like, this is how your brain functions, this is how and where you can have control, then I was like, oh. And I started seeing myself as 2 parts. There's my brain, and then there's me. There's my wants, my desires, my needs, my values, my morals. And then there's the neural pathways I have that want to steer me in the direction that they're used to. And when you have childhood trauma and your brain's has those pathways for your whole life, you have to change them. Yep. And you have to learn what changes that. I think that's one of the hardest parts for people, is finding that fire.
Yeah.
You got to find your fire. I tell people all the time in my groups that It's not about just
Hey, Liz.
doing recovery. It's not about just doing what you're told, because when you're in recovery and you're, justice involved, you're surrounded by people telling you what you need to do, but you're not going to start doing it and making the changes until you feel it, until you feel empowered and you have that confidence in yourself.
And I love that part of the change too, because you need that fire. But one thing I wish everybody, and I wish I would have understood, I've been on this kick for like a couple months now, but 30, 60, 90 day help. And this is a marketing, and I blame marketing for it, because you can like, oh, take this pill and you're going to lose weight. The easy way. Oh, do 10 minutes of abs every day and you're going to look like this ripped bodybuilder guy and girl on TV,
Really? Where can I get it?
Exactly.
Our program.
All this stuff you're talking about takes years
Oh yeah.
to change. This
Well-
rewiring of your brain doesn't happen in 30 days.
Yeah, well, and
It's not some commercial on
I'm going to
TV.
interrupt you for a second, but something else is recovery does not end, because you might be recovering for substance and you might get that down on lock. You might not, you might feel like you've got that down forever, but things keep happening to you in life. And that's another part of recovery that you have to overcome is, okay, I've been through, I've worked out my trauma, I'm in recovery, and then something traumatic happens. And that's a new thing, because
Mhm.
now you have new trauma that you have to learn to to work with.
Mhm. Or people
How to
thinking that
cope.
they're going to arrive.
Yeah, and it never ends. And mental health recovery, that never ends either,
No, it's
There's
an
always something to
ongoing
get
battle.
over.
And
Mhm.
one thing that fools people is with that short, quick fix type mentality, get rich overnight, win the lottery type thing, is they feel at some point in their recovery they're going to arrive on this plateau of halos and soft.
I made
Melted
Oh
it.
my
butter.
gosh,
I
I think
made-
about this all the
doesn't
time.
happen.
Yeah.
And you never make it. You have
Yeah.
to constantly battle and fight
Yes, and
the whole
people
time.
and people pray, people manifest, people do whatever they got to do to want to get what they need, where they want to be, but you're not gonna pray success into your lap
No.
sitting in your front room, bro.
Mm.
You're not gonna manifest your dreams if you're not taking steps at the same time.
Yep.
There's not one piece. You're not just gonna get lucky one day.
Mm-mm. The harder I work, the luckier I get, though.
Boom.
I
That's
wish.
what it is.
Wish that's
Mhm.
how it worked.
Yeah. Liz, what's up?
I love you, Liz.
What up, Liz?
Hi, babes.
Facebook user says, I have
Should I
so
call
much
Millie?
respect for those in recovery. When I hear recovery stories, I wonder if I would even be strong enough if I was in their shoes. It's amazing the mountains that people can climb and conquer, each in their own way. Keep it up, Kelsey, and thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Listen, let me tell you a secret. If the three of us here can do recovery, you're
Okay.
strong enough to do
Yep.
recovery.
There's
Okay.
4 of us
Absolutely.
here.
I know, but if if
Come
the,
on now.
I don't
okay,
count.
okay, if the three of us can recover from drugs and Felice can be with LT while he's an
Oh,
alcoholic,
Okay, good.
then you can do it. Okay. That's some hard stuff.
Yeah.
That's some hard stuff. Being with LT while he's sober, that's a little hard. Okay.
Imagine when he's drunk. Just try.
Oh, hey,
Try.
Tiff. I see Tiffany. I love you, Tiff. Tiffany is one of our
Tiffany.
case managers at the sheriff's office. I work with her. We share an office, and I adore her.
Awesome. How's
She's
it going?
such a great support, and she's a huge advocate for peer support. She is always talking about how important peer support is, and I admire it because I think peer support can become underrated sometimes in the social work field.
You got to open both eyes, Jim. Open both your eyes. Hard work and dedication. And
Mhm.
I put a little thing on Facebook, and it just, who's that? Oh, dang it. Neo is, what's his face? And he plays John Wick. Okay.
What?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
Keanu.
Keanu Reeves, right? And John Wick.
Keanu.
And it was like, hey, why don't you skip the gym and go into happy hour? And he's like, no, I don't think I will.
Oh, I did see
You know? And it's that his attitude fighting the guys that killed his puppy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the attitude you have to have.
Yep.
You have to tell people that are weak in your life to get the frick out, right? Get lost, kick rocks. I ain't got time for mediocre. I'm here to help. You want help? I'm here to help. I ain't gonna judge you. If you don't want help, you go be you, because I'm gonna be over here being me. And I'm gonna be so obsessed about it that when I come around you, you're gonna be uncomfortable around me. So we're probably ain't gonna be too good of friends here anymore, unless you get up on the same level.
Yeah, are you surrounded by people who are moving forward and succeeding in life, or are you surrounded by people who are low place in their life and dragging you down at the same time? I think it's fine to be there for the people you love struggling,
Sure.
right?
100%.
But boundaries.
Yep.
Boundaries.
Yes.
Huge boundaries.
Boundaries.
Mhm.
Yep.
LOL.
So is there anything else you want to add to the story before we shut this thing down and bring this plane to a landing?
No, I think it's been great. It's been fun.
It's been awesome. You have an amazing story.
Loved having you on, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Kelsey,
guys.
thanks for coming to hang out with us.
I love you guys.
You make
And
a
you
good
all-
Can
guest.
I spend the night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got actually like
This,
Sleepover?
the bed turns into a
this
couch.
turns into a bed. There's
Yeah,
an extra
turn
bedroom
into a bed.
upstairs.
Oh my god.
Okay, let me text my husband.
Tell him to drop off
Super
the kids.
pretty.
My old therapist said he's gonna watch tonight, and if he's here, you're amazing, and I miss you a lot.
Thanks,
so
old therapist.
thanks
Thanks,
for
therapist.
thanks for supporting me all these years. He was my therapist for 5 years, and now we still keep in touch once in a while. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you supporting me. Still, it means a lot to me. So thank you.
And remember, if you guys want to support us, just hit that share button.
Yep.
Share, like, love, comment, and let people know we're out there. We are a local program here in Utah that's absolutely free. RecoveringAddict.org is where you can find more information about us. You can come see us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the Iron House Gym on 155 14th Street. You can stick with us as long as you want. We're long-term relapse prevention. You've been to rehab? Now what? We are the now what. We're going to holistically help you get better. And these live streams are not going away. We're going to figure them out. So like I told you guys before, we got a few businesses rolling, and this recovery thing is kicking off, and the communities are just getting better and thicker and more amazing. And the people in the recovery community is amazing. And I want to figure out how to be able to do all of it. I want this live stream to be more than once a month, but for now it's going to be once a month until I can figure out how to a couple more spots in my schedule as our production company is growing, and we are helping other recovery companies get the message out there too as well. So,
And I'm gonna say one more thing. For real, share, because these guys are amazing and they help so many people. And every time you share something on social media that is a foundation to help people, you can save a life. So share this stuff because it's important.
Mic drop. Tell them.
Brandy Plum, I love your profile pic. Be still and know that I am God.
You should come hang out with us, Brandy.
That's cool. All right, y'all.
Okay.
God,
God,
grant us
the
the serenity
to
accept the things we cannot change,
the
courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Hey! Woo! Oh, and hey, your self-respect has to be stronger than your feelings. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Tell them.
And until next time, do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your program, and remember,
We recover better together.
And look, LT, let's me and you talk.